Going down, Troy.
What's that, mate?
What's happening, mate?
Uh, Friday was a bit horrible, mate. I got wrecked.
Bummer. Bummer, man. It was a
I,
bit choppy.
yeah, I got sent out for both the short and the long. It just happened really far. It went down just after the open, and then it went back up for what was that?
Let's have a look. Um, let's go
Yeah,
back and look. How'd you go Thursday? I know you were thinking of holding a trade Thursday. How'd you go?
yeah, Thursday. Yeah, I closed for about 1%.
Okay. Because it
And I had
retraced?
to trade at stop loss, and it retraced at about 11, and then it just closed the trade. But I should have just left the stop loss where it was, or even at break even, because it
Yeah,
did
because
go up
it did
quite
go
a
back
lot.
up. Well, it ended up going to what you were saying, to the New York high.
Yeah, yeah, the equal highs for New York, and then there
Yeah.
was a 1 hour FPG even above that, so it went even further. And I was like, I should have just maybe just move it to break even.
Yep.
But I'm just trying to play around with that and see how it goes. Like a trailing stop loss, obviously didn't work for me, but maybe I just got to stick to my original plan. Leave the stop loss where it is, and if it hits it, it hits it.
So I'm massive on that. I'm because I've had in the past. I've had so many opportunities that didn't play out because I'd go to break even, where it'd come down, tap you out at
Yeah,
break even, then go. So what do I do now, man? And
yeah,
this is just me personally. I don't mind taking the loss. So if I have a good setup and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna hold this for 5 to 1, or I might even hold a little bit longer. I just leave my stop loss open, because if it stops you out, it doesn't matter, man. You've seen how this system works. You'll get that back the next day.
yeah, I know.
You
I
know.
know. So
Um,
I was kind of kicking myself. Like I still got over 1%.
that's
But
good.
it could have been five. You know.
Yeah, look, it's better than losing, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
yeah. And
yeah, so
Friday was just. I think Friday was just unlucky.
let's go Friday, because I marked up Friday. I was unable to actually trade it, but I marked it up Friday. Now I'll go through my markup and just explain why I've done it, and then I'll go through what you done. Uh, let's have a look, man. I'll move this out of the way because it's a bit. So obviously on the buy position, went from this zone here. So there was either that area there. This one here wasn't too. I didn't like that area there,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I was either go up here. This one was good. We've tapped into it. We've tapped into it. We've tapped. So it's respected it a couple of times. Um, and then my next point, I was thinking of going off this zone there, right? But because this was like a very aggressive move, and this was a lot more conservative. Um, then on the sell position was a little bit of a tricky one, because you do have this nice clean zone here, right? Which wouldn't be a bad entry, even though it would have got stopped out on that. It's like that wouldn't be a bad entry. Like if you took that entry and got stopped out, mate, there's nothing wrong with that, because it's actually a
Yeah, I think
good
that's
entry.
probably what I have actually.
Yeah. The reason why I marked off my sell position on this zone here and where I've done it, because we've come in, we've tapped this zone, we've tapped this zone, we've come back, we've respected it, we've faked out, we've broken through, and then come back. So it's been a bit of a manipulation. So it's bounced between these two areas. You see what I mean? It's gone bang, 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 bang. It's been bouncing in this
Yeah,
zone.
building up liquidity.
Yep. So the reason why I've done that is like, all right, cool. We're going to have to break out of here at some point. So it's, this is over 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 30, over pretty much over an hour. It was just bouncing from zone to zone. So for me, that says, okay, cool. Like you just said then, we're building liquidity there. We're going to have to get a breakout here at some point. And when we do, I want to be nice and tight to that breakout. I want to be nice and close. I wouldn't go on here, because that's just a minute. I see that as a manipulation candle that's broken through the liquidity and then retest. That might have tricked, if you go back to that, that might have tricked people to go for a sell, to say, oh, cool, we've broken out now, we'll start selling, and then it's come back up. So I went off that zone there. Now, going off that zone there would have got you 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then on the buy position, you would have at least tapped a 1 to 1 before you get that reversal.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did go off this zone down here, there's nothing wrong with that at all, man. Like they just, just because it didn't play out doesn't mean that it's a wrong entry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's quickly have a look. We've got 4 minutes, so let's go back now. We've got this massive gap here to fill. Got another huge gap on the wonders chart. So what I'll potentially be looking at, there's 2 levels we can go off, depending how these candle closes now. If it gets too close and breaks above there, this is my preferred level, right? If we do get a breakout of that level in the next couple of minutes, then we'll go off this zone here. It's probably a safer bet. And then for the sell, let me just quickly get all this up because I didn't realise we only got a couple of minutes.
Yep, you're right, mate.
All right. So it looks like it's breaking that now. So then we'll go after this next level. So we've broken that. We'll go after this next level here. Yeah, I've got to try and get it on my thing as well. It's pushing, back and pushing, man. So we'll go up that next level there for the buy. That's what I'm looking at. And honestly, man, me personally, if we do get a nice solid breakout, I'll most likely keep this position open. I reckon I'll most likely keep it open to potentially that zone there, because we've got that massive gap that needs to be fulfilled. Look, it may backfire on me. It may come through, retest, stop out, and then continue up. But as you've seen in the past, when there's these big gaps, you usually get a pretty decent move out of that.
Yep.
So that will be the buy position, and the sell position I'll be looking at. So we've got this level here that's been created now. Originally I was thinking of this level there, but I'm happy to go off here because again, you've come, we've respected it, bounced back, respected this level again, didn't quite break through. So I'd be happy to look at a sell position from there. Let's quickly mark that up. Short. Yeah, we'll go from there. So that is what I'll be looking at. Oops. Very tight stop losses. That's all right. What we want. And that looks very, very tight, which it is, until you zoom out and you're like, oh, okay, it's not too bad. So we're looking at for this level. Something like that. Cool. And then for the buy.
Oh, what's going on?
Not much, guys. This look at the size of that gap.
It's huge, isn't it? Yeah, it's massive. I was just saying to Troy then, I might go a little bit crazy today and see how the market reacts. But if we get a good push past this zone, I might even potentially hold to the top of that gap. We've seen how it played out last time. Last time it went and smashed it. So no, it's a huge move there. 24-1.
That's massive, man.
All right, we are on. I've just got to quickly put this buy order in. All right, my buy order is set. Oh. Hang on a sec. Not yet. Put it up here. There. Okay. Right, my buy order is set. And I will put the sell order in. Now I'll see how we're going here. You know, we got 2 pretty bullish momentum candles in a row. This one not quite. So it does seem like there's a bit of a buying pressure in the market. But we will know once we cross this zone here.
That's a massive opportunity there. If it does push up, man, I reckon it goes straight through that.
If it does, yeah.
Sick.
The only thing I would be concerned about potentially is it breaking through because it has to retrace at some point, whether it's off previous price action or not. It's just how far back does it retrace? You know, does it retrace to this zone here, or does it go just below it to that area there?
Yeah.
So that's my only concern with it. But this is a stronger zone here. So if we do get a retracement, I would expect it to bounce back off this zone here, which would keep us in the trade still. If it does go to this level, if it does go to this level here, obviously it'll stop us out. But we'll see, man. It might not even do that. It might just head straight down and fulfill that another day or another session. Who knows?
Yeah. Troy, how did you go? Did you hold that position open until the London last week?
I was telling Mike before I did trailing stop loss, and then it actually retraced and hit it for like 1%. And I was telling Mike I should have just like left the stop loss where it was because it would have hit like 5 or 6%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh well.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And if it's to lock in 1% and potentially get stopped out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Good work.
All right, I'm just sending that sell order now as well. So I'm comfortable to leave the sell order there. So I'm just going to put that in now.
So USA and China struck a trade deal. I reckon the markets will be pretty crazy this week.
Second. What was that? What was that, Sam?
The USA and China struck a trade deal, so I reckon the market should be pretty wild this week.
Yeah, right. I haven't even been all over the news at all, man. So I don't know what's happening.
Did they do the deal, Sam, or are it's still in talks?
So I saw what's that page? What's your guru on X? They said that China and USA had come to an agreement on a trade deal. Yeah. Whether it's actually happened or it's speculation, I don't know. But either way, I reckon it'll still be pretty some volatility in the market this week off the back of that.
100%.
Yeah, well, the Nasdaq and S&P are already up 1.5%.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, so look, even if this does what it's been doing the last week or so, just consolidate a little bit to about 10.20, 10.30, I think it might be worth us staying on just a little bit longer this morning.
Yeah.
It might be worth because every day last week, well, not every day, but most days, we'll be jumping up at around 20 past or 25 past, and then it'll move.
Yeah.
So we might stay on a little bit longer. Yeah, we might stay along to about 10:30 this morning and just see, because I really am intrigued to see what happens with this gap. I'm very, very intrigued to see what happens with it. So we might get a rebound of this level here. So we might get a reaction off there. It's just how hard the reaction is going to be. Whether it, like I was saying, whether it reacts, pulls back, and then continues out.
Let's go home, man. You there? RV?
Good boy, good story, sir.
Oh, you're listening, man. What's going on?
Good, very good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, man.
So we'll see how that plays out. Hopefully, ideally, it breaks through and just keeps going. That'd be the best case scenario. Or it just breaks through and slightly retraces and then keeps going to that zone. That's what we want. It's always exciting when there's a gap in the market.
Are you going to set a take profit, or would you exit manually if it does break up through there?
So I've set a take profit because I've got a figure I'd like to get to. So my take profit is actually at 3313.63.
Oh yeah, nice.
If I can hit that, I'm very, very happy, man. Yeah. So I've set my take profit there. I might even set it just here actually. This yeah, I'll set my take profit there.
What would that be, like 16%?
Well, it's 14 to 1, 15 to 1. Yeah. Look, I'm not. This is strongly advisable not to do that. That's not how you shouldn't trade that way. But like I said, there's been some amazing trades over the last month or two. So I'm actually risking less. I'm actually risking less to hold it longer. So if it does come and retrace and stops me out, it's not going to bother me. But it would still be nice if it does go. But again, it might continue down, come break through this level here, and then hopefully see how we go. Now, if we do break for the sell position, there's a few levels to look at. We've got this level here just before a TP2, and then we've got an imbalance here just after the TP4. So we could, it's still not too bad. If we get a breakout below and we close and it doesn't just fake us out where it just comes and retraces, or if it doesn't react off this zone here, I'll just move that out of the way. You got that small level there, which isn't too concerning. So yeah, if it breaks through and goes through that level there and closes below here, we should be good. If it closes below this zone here, we should be good. If we don't get faked out. So I've actually left this sell position. I've put the take profit as a TP5 on this sell position. And I'm just going to probably manually close it off. So I've put my sell stop order in. So I've set the stop loss and the entry point, but I've left the take profit open because I just want to see how the candles are reacting when it reaches this region here, if we do get the sell. Did anyone trade Friday? Yeah. So you're I'll come back. I've got another screen open, so I'll know when we hit any of those orders. So do you remember where your setup was, Troy? Was it? Do you reckon it might have been there? I'll move that out.
The buy was at entry was 331815.
18. Oh yeah, so it was around there.
It was around where you had it, but then I've got my stop losses are a little bit wider because of the spreads with the.
Oh yeah, so your entry point might have been a little bit higher. Or was your entry?
So it kind of whipped me in and then just reversed.
Straight.
And same with the sell. The sell was basically at the wick low from the 955 candle, I think it was.
Oh, you went off that one there.
Yeah, I think it was there. And
did it retrace that 5-minute candle?
Got ended. I think it went up like TP1, but then it reversed.
Let's have a look. I'll see what it's done on the 1 minute. Oop. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, so something like that.
Yeah, and like I said, my stop loss were wider, so
yeah, so it did it hit TP1 or not quite?
Yeah, I think it just tagged it.
Just tagged it, yeah, and then reversed.
I'm looking to hold a little bit longer than that, and then it reversed, stopped me out.
Bummer.
Yeah, it was. Went up, went down, went up, went down.
Just out of curiosity, I'll show you something I did over the weekend in a second. Yeah, what a bummer.
It is. I guess I wasn't fast enough to close the short. I should have just closed it after the first loss.
Yeah, but that's all right, man. That's all right. But, look, I personally don't. If I take a loss, I leave my second position open. You know what it is, man? You just create your rules, and whatever your rules are, just stick to them, because then if it doesn't pan out, you won't be down on yourself about it. You know what I mean? Like, if you stick to your rules and you get stopped out, and then you look at it and you go, you know what, I would take that position again, then it's all good. It's no stress. What gets to you the most is when you go against your rules and then lose a trade, then you're pissed off. Then you're extra annoyed with what you've done.
You're gambling then, you're not doing anything. So you've been taught or you taught yourself. You're
Exactly.
off your rules and all that kind of stuff, and it's going to end bad.
Stick to your rules, man. Always stick to your rules. Every now and then you might go a little bit crazy, like I'm thinking today. Like, yeah, I might let this play out a little bit longer than usual. But
you're risking less. So
I'm risking less. Yeah, that's exactly right. What happened there? What was that? What's going on here? Am I? No. Let's have a look. I'll show you guys something in a sec. Well, I push replay or something. What have I done? What's going on there? What is happening? Interesting. There we go. Wrong chart. Out of curiosity over the weekend, I was seeing how many times we would have hit a 30 to 1. just out of curiosity over the last couple of weeks, and mate, it's pretty good. So from the 21st of April, 30 to 1 here, 30 to 1 there, 30 to 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Within a week, you've hit it 3 times. And then obviously you had this big gap. This is a 20 to 1. Oh no, it was a 30 to 1 there as well. 30 to 1, 30 to 1. Now you got to have some balls if that's how you're going to trade. Like if you're going to trade that and go, I'm only going to hold for 30 to 1s, I would say you're fucking crazy and don't do it. But just out of curiosity, it's pretty interesting just to see how many times it did play out. But yeah, 100% don't ever trade like that. That's gambling. You don't want to trade that way. But it's just interesting to see the massive moves we've had over the last couple of weeks. Pretty good. To get a nice push up on this today would be a beautiful start to the week. Yeah. Has anyone had any issues with slippage or spreads or anything like that? Trading the open at all? Troy, have you had issues with that? Not too bad? Good. And who's your...
I actually haven't done any trading for a little bit because I obviously cancelled that funded challenge and then went to see what to chat with you boys about the blueberry thing and then I've just been kind of waiting and doing the paper trading on TradingView, having a little play around. So I haven't actually placed a live trade for about a week and a bit.
That's all right, man. As long as you're still, even if you're just doing it on demo as well, so you're still in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what they're doing. Just at least make sure that I don't forget about it and get back to it and be like, how do I actually?
Yeah, exactly. Or you start forgetting your strategy, or start forgetting your rules and stuff like that. So even when you're not trading with capital or on a funded, I would always say 100% still try and get on every day and just trade on a demo, just to keep it going. Yeah, 100%. Who's your funded challenge through? Oh, he's on mute. That's good, Sam. It's good at least those guys paid you back for the funded challenge.
Yeah.
So did they admit their spreads were no good?
Not actually. Like they didn't say anything in writing, but because I said to them like, you guys didn't spreads and I get up to
That's the biggest spread in the market. And he basically was like, oh, okay, well then, yeah, we'll give you a refund. Because I said it wasn't as advertised.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, we'll give you a refund. But he didn't admit it, but you know.
Yeah, they give you a refund, mate. That's an admission, isn't it? That's an admission in itself. How did you check the spreads? Because they were on trade. You were trading on Trade Locker, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah, I was. They actually didn't give. They didn't give you the chance to do a demo or check the spreads before buying the challenge, which in itself, now that I look back, is probably a red flag. But,
Yep.
At least we know for next time.
Yep. So were you able to check the spreads before you enter a trade through Trade Locker at all? Like I know on MetaTrader you can.
Yeah, well, it shows. It always has the spread live. So I just had that bid and ask line on the screen.
Yep.
And yeah, basically that showed what the spread was.
Okay.
It has it on the right hand side as well, so the bid and ask price or the spread difference on. I think it was on the right on Trade Locker. But yeah, it was just massive, man. Like the smallest I saw it, I think was 48 cents, and I was like, you can't trade that.
Nah, especially this strategy. There's no way. There's no way you can You can't trade this strategy with spreads that big. That's why it's so important. And I'll tell everybody this. It's extremely important that you're using a broker with tight spreads because we're already trading. When you trade in the Tokyo market, not many traders trade the Tokyo market because there's already low volume in the market. Spreads are double than what they are in New York or London. And when you can get slippage from anywhere from 1.5 to 3 pips, where on the New York and London market, your slippage is anywhere from like 1 to 1.8 pip. You know what I mean? So the risks are a lot higher trading during the Tokyo session, but the results speak for themselves. I mean, you guys have been on here now for over a month. The win rate you have is way more than what you do during the London and New York.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there is that volume in the market. What I found, because I've traded all sessions, and what I found is, especially in the New York, and you'll probably notice it if you forward test the London sessions and New York sessions now, you find because there is so much volume, you get faked out so many more times because there's so much money coming into the market on that open. You get faked out a lot more than obviously what you do in the Tokyo session. So I guess it's just you just got to choose what, you're going to have losses and you're going to get stopped out and things like that. It's just, well, would you prefer have a higher win rate with high spreads or a lower win rate with lower spreads? To me, it kind of equals itself out.
Yeah. It makes sense that, like you said, if you've tried all the sessions and the Tokyo seems to be the one where you get the cleanest candles.
Yeah.
Take the stress off yourself, and instead of being like, oh, maybe I'll trade Tokyo and then I'll trade London. Like you said, you just set and forget or stick to your rules, do one trade and then take off.
Yeah, exactly.
The one that works.
Yeah, exactly. And for me personally, the Tokyo session works extremely well. So that's what I stick to. And you might get larger spreads sometimes where your 1-to-1 isn't quite a 1-to-1 because of the spreads. It might be a little bit less. If you're going risking 1,000 to make 1,000, you might, if it stops out, you might lose 1,200, and if you win it, you might win 800. But your win rate is a lot more.
Oh yeah.
The win rate's a lot higher. So that extra $200 you might have lost, it's in the long run, in the long term, it doesn't really mean shit.
Yeah. I'm actually going to do some back testing today on my other indicator and just see, for the sake of it, for every indication that pops up, if I put it in as a 1-to-1, I'd like to see what the win rate is, rather than trying to maximize profits if you just go buy or sell 1-to-1 exit.
Yeah, on your indicator. Yeah, definitely, bro. 100%. I think with most systems and most indicators, your 1-to-1 is going to be, your 1-to-1 win rate is always going to be a lot higher. What I find is just the capital that you've got to trade with. So if you've got plenty of capital there and you can afford to take 10 losses in a row until you hit a 5-to-1 or 10-to-1 or You know, you can afford to take 5-6 losses in a row and then hit 2 5-to-1s in a row. Then happy days, stick to that. But I mean, you know, if you're trying to pass challenges or your capital's not quite that large and you can't really afford to take that many losses, then 1-to-1's the way to do it. But it's a progress. When you go 1-to-1, it's a slow process, because if you win a trade, lose a trade, win a trade, lose a trade, then you're at break even, then you win, lose. You know what I mean? So it is a bit of a process. It's a longer process, but in the long run, if you're looking at doing this long term forever, you're going to be a profitable trader, which 90% of people don't ever get to.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. I think I swear most people probably fail is because they're like, oh, I'm only going to risk $100 on this trade, but I want to make 1,000.
Yep.
Because they, like you were saying the other day, like instead of doing it consistently and just being like, okay, let's make $100 per trade. If you do 10 trades a week, you know, there's your $1,000, but they want to try and do it in one trade.
Yep. And the thing about that, like in the short term, it sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to make $1,000 a day, but in the long term, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And then you find you've gone, you know, a few months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months in, and you're not a profitable trader. But if all you done was just hold for a 1-to-1, and you're 6 months in, you'd be making a living out of it by then. You know, you might be doing a couple of hundred, you know, 5, 6, 7, $800 a week. You might be making 1,000. You might be making minimum wage, but you'll be making something, rather than just trying to hold for too long. When I sat down with that broker last week, he's been in it for 15, 20 years, and he's like a proper Wall Street trader. He said to me, he goes, the biggest reason why people fail in trading is because they cut their winners off too short and they hold their losses for too long. And I'm like, you know what? It's fucking bang on. Like, it makes complete sense. So for example, what a lot of people do when they first start getting into trading, and this is why I don't like manual trading. This is why I just set and forget, because I used to be guilty of this as well. But what a lot of people do, so we're going to go off this one here because I don't want to fuck with those. The trade will be moving up. So let's just say this arrow's the market. It'll be moving up, and it breaks in, and then it keeps going, then it starts to retrace. All right. And then in your head, you're like, all right, cool. It'll go to, we should get a retracement from here, but then it doesn't. Then it starts continuing. You're like, oh, fuck, it's going to stop me out. So then what people do is they're like, all right, I'm going to make my stop loss a little bit bigger because we've got this zone here. We're going to retrace from that zone. All right. Then as we're coming there, so now you've doubled, tripled your risk. So now you come to this zone, it retraces a little bit, comes back, starts going down. You're like, fuck, nah, this is definitely going up. It's definitely going up. I'm going to go off this zone here because this is 100% going up. And nothing's 100%, but for some reason when you first started off, you think it's 100%. You're like, oh, we broke this level. We've broken this level now in the higher time frames, and look, we've passed that. There's nothing for it to be retracing off. This has to be going up. And then before you know it, you've made your stop loss this big, and then it continues down, and then it just starts going down. And then you've just got stopped out. And you're fucked up. So
3% instead of 1.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And then what will happen? And then on the next trade, because you've done that, on the next trade, you don't want that to happen again, right? So now just saying so you've just lost 3-1. So now you've set a 3-1, right? So then on your next trade, you've got a bit of PDST because of that happened. So it'll come up and then it'll start to retrace. And you're like, oh, fuck, I'm jumping out. So you'll jump out at 0.5% because you don't want to go through that again. So instead of holding it the whole way, you'll jump out there as it's retracing because you're like, oh, fuck, this is going to happen what happened last time. I'm out. And then what happens is it comes down and does exactly what you're hoping the last one does and goes. Right. And that's literally the reality of trading. That's literally what happens all the time. If your emotions aren't there and if you're trying to constantly change things while you're in the trade. And that is why so many people fail. And that's why people aren't profitable. But if you do this and you just set it and you forget it and you just let it do its thing, yeah, you're going to lose, but you're going to win as well. Well, like I was saying to Troy before, I'd much prefer take a loss, knowing that I stuck to my system and stuck to my stop loss and left everything as it is, than fuck with my system while I'm in the trade and then take a loss. Like, it hurts a lot less. If you're like, cool, we're in, I'm just going to let it play, and you're just watching it and and you're watching it stop you out and it stops you out, you say, all right, cool, whatever. I'll leave this position open now.
That's part of the system.
It's a part of the system. And if the system works, don't fuck with it.
Yeah.
You know? We got so another 4 minutes. We'll see how the 10:30 candle goes. If we don't get much movement, what I'll do, I'll put this sell position, and if I walk away, I'm only going to hold it 2-1 in the sell position. I'm not going to try and hold it any longer. I'll hold it to there, to that point there. So I'll set my take profit at 2-1 on the sell. And then, well, you know what I'm doing on the buy, but I wouldn't advise anyone do that. All I'll say is on the buy position, your next real level to get some sort of reaction off is around here.
Yeah, nearly tapped it twice.
Yeah, we'll say it. Yeah, well, it's a little bit high, but just to go off this one, just to be a little bit more cautious. That's what I would expect. I would expect it to at least go to there. But, you know, just because I expect it to do that doesn't mean it will. If you're on a funded, if anyone's doing funded challenges or anything that, mate, Hustle will always say on a funded challenge, his rule of thumb is 1-1. 1-1. Don't try and hold 2-1s. Don't try it on longer. Just 1-1. Pass that challenge and then start fucking around a bit if you want.
Speaking of challenges, I saw IC Market offers a funded challenge. Have you looked into that before?
I haven't, but I had an interesting conversation with a broker last week who actually mentioned IC traders. But again, it's hard to know what to believe because they're competition, they're competitors.
Yeah.
He was just saying that IC traders aren't doing well at all. And yeah, there's a potential that they might not be around too much longer. But again, take that with a grain of salt because you're talking to a competitor.
Yeah.
But I do know when you ring IC Markets, the customer service isn't the best. If anyone even just wants to do it for a laugh, like just do it for a laugh today. Just ring IC Markets to ask a question, and then when we jump back on tomorrow, tell me your experience.
Yeah, it's fucking. Sounds like someone's just gotten out of bed.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you've spoken to them, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally sounds like they're like, hello? You're like, hello? And they're like, yeah, hi. And you're like, yeah, I just got a couple of questions. You're like, oh, okay. It's like, what the fuck? Have I rang the right place? Have I rang the wrong number? It's funny, man.
The answer is always, oh, you're just going to have to send us an email. Like, what's the point of having a fucking phone number if you can't help it?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so this candle closes shortly. Man, I won't waste your time, and we don't want to sit on here all morning, so. And we're pretty far away from both zones. So yeah. What do you guys want to do? You just want to sit around and see how this candle closes, or are you happy to just set and forget?
I'm going to bounce, guys.
Sweet.
Stuff to not do, so I'll leave those positions open. I'll shorten my TPs to 2%, so see how they go.
Happy days, man. Good stuff.
Right, guys, yeah, good one. Talk to you soon.
Right, let's,
All right, bro. See ya.
I'm happy to jump off. I'm not going to trade tomorrow 10 to 10.
That's it.
Beautiful.
All right, guys.
Catch you later.
See ya. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye. So that is it. So I've set my take profit zones now. I'll hold for a TP2 on the sell position, and I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive on this buy position because we do have this gap to fill. I'll hold this buy position, yeah, to at least a 5-1. Set and forget. Come back tomorrow and see how we go. All right, see you then.